You're listening to Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast.
When your heart is aching and your world is shaking, don't give up. No, don't give up.
Hello and welcome to Oh My Health, There Is Hope, the podcast. I'm your host, Jana Short. And today I'm here with one of my favorite guests, Tamara Golden. Tamara is the owner and CEO of Journeywork Retreats, a retreat strategy and planning company operating across the US and worldwide. Combining 20 plus years in travel, event planning, coaching, Tamara has developed a proprietary retreat strategy planning process that helps you design, market, fill, and monetize your retreats. And it is magical. I cannot wait till she gets into this. But through a range of services, Journeywork Retreats is committed to supporting coaches, healers, and transformational leaders like you in crafting retreats that accelerate outcomes for your clients while increasing enrollments, referrals, and revenues for your business. What doesn't sound good about that? Welcome, Tamara. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks, Jana. It's so great to be here with you. Thank you again for having me.
I know one of the things that we're going to talk about is when retreats make sense for your business. And I know there's a lot of people who say that others are doing retreats and they're like jumping on, I want to do it. And they just jump in and it becomes a disaster. Can I just say hello? That was me. And it was a disaster because I didn't get the right people at the retreat. I didn't have the right things when I got to the retreat. It was all work, no fun, and people recognize that. So what can you tell us about when retreats are right for your business?
Oh my gosh. Well, Jana, you're, oh my God. I love hearing your stories, by the way. And by the way, when I first started out in business, I was so well-meaning. I just wanted to work with everyone who was interested in planning a retreat and get them there. And I quickly understood, much like you've just described, there are certain people, there's a certain process that needs to happen. There's a a planning timeline that needs to be in place. And people need to be in a certain place in their business to really make the most of leveraging a retreat. And so I quickly learned that it takes really a certain person in a certain place in their business. And so let's talk a little bit about what that looks like so that your listeners can understand if this is something that resonates for them and makes sense for them. And if not now, maybe down the line when they get to this place. So I talk about there needing to be 3 things in place for someone to even begin to think about offering a retreat. The first is you've got to have what I call proof of concept. Okay. So you have to have something that you are putting out into the world. It could be a service, it could be a product, but there's something that you have developed that is hopefully proprietary. It's something specific to you and your training and your knowledge and your gifts that you are putting out in the world and that you are asking a price for and that you have seen that people are willing to purchase. Okay. So that's what I mean by proof of concept. You've actually got a service or a product that you're putting out there and that people are willing to buy. So the second thing that comes with that is clients. All right. You can't run a retreat without clients. And by the way, you can't run a business without clients. So that should be self-explanatory. You need to have people coming in the door who want this service, who want this product that you have, right? So those are the first 2 things, proof of concept and clients. Now, the third thing, and this is something that may not be self-evident, but it's got to be there, is you've got to have something that you are teaching or training on, or at least some material that you are facilitating during that retreat. Okay. I've said this before, I think in some of the other podcasts I've done with you, but that training content, that educational piece is really important because that's what separates your retreat from just a mere vacation. All right. Otherwise people could go off on a beautiful place, to a beautiful place by themselves. They could go off with a group of friends. Like that's what this is about. This is about you curating an experience. And so you've got to have that educational content and that, training or teaching or facilitation, even if it's a mastermind that you're leading, that dedicated piece that you are leading. All right. So those 3 components are what you need to have in place to even be able to offer a retreat. But when does it make sense in your business? When does it make sense in your business? Okay. It's not as much about having a specific list size, because I get that question all the time. Tamara, how many people do I need to have on my list before I can offer a retreat? And it's not that scientific. I can't say to you, you need to have 100 or you need to have 1,500 or you need to have 15,000. It's not that scientific. What you do need to have is to have thought out where the retreat fits in with your other programs. All right. This is mission critical. So where retreats make sense for your business, quite honestly, is when you're at that place in your business where you are looking to up level. You're looking to go to higher ticket programs. You're looking to go to VIP clientele. And that is when the retreat becomes essential. And it really is something that you can leverage, because the retreat is best used as a client retention mechanism, not a client attraction mechanism. So that's where you need to be in your business, is at the point where you're ready to up level.
I love that thought process, because that wasn't my thought process. It was about giving them as much training as possible. And I fried their brains the first retreat. Literally, there was no downtime. It was work, work, work. It was like a boot camp, and they hated it. So I did completely the opposite next time. I threw in a little teeny bit of training, and it was all fun. And they were pissed. Because they didn't come there to just hang out with me. They came there to learn something. And what I love about you is you are so well balanced. Like, you balance out the retreat. And when people leave, they're filled on all levels.
Yeah. So there's really three outcomes. I mean, there's three desired goals for the retreat, right? And you can think about this in terms of your business and where they fit in. The first is, okay, you want your clients, you want the participants to have an impactful experience, even, shall I say, a transformational experience, right? You want this to be an amazing, unforgettable event for your peeps, because what does that mean? They are going to turn into lifelong raving fans. All right. If there's no impact, if there's no deliverable, if there's no transformation, if there's no pizzazz or wow, I mean, then you're missing the mark there. So the second piece, the second really important factor, is you want to create that sense of connection and that sense of community. Because again, that factors into, I mean, you work with influencers, Jen. I mean, if you want to be an influencer, what you're really trying to do is grow your tribe, and you want that tribe to become your lifelong raving fans. And so that connection and that community is something that you need to foster through the format and the flow of your retreat. It is what has people not only wanting to continue the journey with you, but continue the journey as part of your community. And we see that being super important as a factor in factoring into how people really step up and re-enroll or accept your upsells, because it's not even about continuing with you, it's about continuing as part of the tribe. All right. And then element number 3 is, of course, we want you to be making money from your retreats. And you have to be, again, in business to be in service. And so we want the retreats to be profitable, making profit from the retreat itself, but also from that invitation to continue working with you, whether that's a re-enrollment in one of your programs, or it's an upsell into a higher ticket program. So those are the 3 components that we're after. And so those 3 components have to make sense within your business model. You have to be wanting to foster community. You have to be looking to go to higher ticket programs and prices in order for a retreat to make sense. Okay. It's all about enriching the client journey when we talk about what you're up to with a retreat.
So one of the things I want to talk about that you touched on a little bit is why people are doing retreats and how do you monetize on it? Because you don't want to do a retreat because they're very exhausting mentally, physically. It's a lot of energy you're planning. Literally, we are already working with Tamara to plan 2022 retreats. So you're planning way ahead, and you don't want to be leaving that retreat in debt. You want to be able to be profiting off of that. And when I say profiting, I'm like, it would be nice for some people who are just starting out to break even and learn what that looks like for them. But when you hire someone like Tamara, who's been doing this forever on all different levels. And I know that you offer all different levels. You offer do it yourself, an all in. We are the all in kind of girls. So we don't want to do anything but show up and use our energy there. And she has different levels on how she can do that. But how do people start planning those in advance? And I was going to save this till the end, but we're going to talk about it at the end as well. I know that you have a survey that you can take that's free, and it tells you basically where you're at in that event plan or retreat planning, correct?
Yes. So actually my retreat ready assessment is something that I designed. It's 15 questions. It's multiple choice. Like there's an A or a B. It's really easy. But what that does is it helps you and me to figure out where you are in your business so that I can help navigate that conversation. Okay, well, this is where you are are you ready for a retreat? Are you ready for a retreat of this kind of, or of that kind? Because there's ways and ways to do retreats, and there's ways to do them a little bit more inexpensively, ways to do them more expensively. Are they going to be part of a coaching program? Are they going to be a lead into a coaching program? All of that is what we can discuss. But what is super helpful as an entry point is for both of us to get really clear on where you are in your business, because that's the best way that I can coach you through and have that conversation with you around if retreats make sense. And if not now, when? What are the pieces that are missing? What is it mean? And I'm very candid because I am all about, listen, I have got, Jana, I've got a 20-year coaching background. I am about setting people up for success. Okay. I'm not about setting people up for failure. So if I think that someone is not ready, I will say that to them, but I will also have the conversation around what I think you're missing to get ready, because I want you to hold that vision. I want you to go off and do that retreat someday, but it may not be this year. It may be 2 years down the road or 5 years down the road, but let's have that conversation so you understand where you need to get.
And I know you were talking about list size. And the truth of the matter is when you're starting a retreat, you're probably only going to end up having 5 to 10 people there. It's a very comfortable starting point for a retreat. And so you don't need thousands of people, right? You need those correct 5 to 10 people. When I say correct, there are a lot of people that came to the very first retreat I did that really shouldn't have been there. And I didn't qualify them. And that was bad on my part. I didn't know that I should, to make sure that there was value for them in that retreat. They just wanted to be a part of what I was doing. And it didn't work out very well. So now I literally do, and you can do this through Tamara's program as well, but I qualify the people coming because I want to make sure they're a good fit for that retreat. They are going to walk away happy and with value, and it's successful all around, because success isn't only on my end, right? It's what is my clients are walking away with.
Absolutely. And it's got to be twofold. It's got to be a win-win, right? It's got to be a win for your clients, and it absolutely has to be a win for you, because to your point, you put a lot of effort into this and you want it to be a success on all fronts. So listen, this is part of what I do in my course. So I have my 6-week retreat success roadmap course. The first 3 sessions, the first 3 modules, it's all big picture. People get frustrated with me. I'm like, no. We're not going to just jump in and start planning the retreat, because you've got to figure out, how are you going to embed the retreat into your business? How does it fit into your other programs? You want to figure out, to your point, who are these participants that are coming? Because I've got news for you. It's not every single one of your clients. It's going to be a subset, and it's going to be a very particular subset. And what are you teaching? What is that educational content going to be? Because that's going to help you figure out, when are you doing it? Where are you doing it? And for whom? And how are you marketing it? That's the most important piece. So we've got to have that big picture stuff figured out, and we've got to have that conversation. Only then am I willing to jump down into the weeds with you to talk about, okay, where's the location going to be? What's the venue going to look like? What are all the inclusions going to be? What's the format, the flow? How are we going to price it? How are you going to take registrations, payments, blah, blah, yada, yada, getting down all into those details. But we start with the big picture, because that to me is setting somebody up for success.
100%. So people like myself in London who have been doing retreats for a couple of years now, literally, Tamara, you've changed our game. Like, we didn't realize that it was going to be so much easier, or that we could have such success at what we were already doing just by tweaking a few things that we weren't even aware of. So I love that we were able to meet with you and bring in a whole new set of eyes that sees. We get emotionally attached to our retreats, right? We get emotionally involved, and it's all on emotion, instead of looking back at what everybody is taking away, how we separate the education from the fun time. Like, we did not put any fun time in our first one. And you're like, you have to have downtime. You have to have, some kind of retreat time where they're like getting a massage or doing a yoga together or going on a hike and creating that bond between them. Those are the special moments I found out in a retreat. Like, those are the heartbeats that they take and want to come back for.
Absolutely. And I remember having one of our first conversations with you, only because I look at a lot of different retreat models, right? And I was sitting with you in London, and I said, you ladies are not charging enough money,
That's why they fill up so fast.
Because I can instantly see, I can instantly see the value that you were bringing. And I didn't think that what you were charging was on par with the value that you were offering. And I don't think you understood or really had grasped, the value that you were bringing to somebody. So that was a fun first conversation to have, to say, listen, ladies, you are doing a stellar job. You're bringing a lot of value to your participants and you need to be charging more money for it. So that was, I remember having that first conversation with you. So, but the flip side of that is I've had people come to me who want to put content together and it's too fluffy. And I will say to them, listen, there needs to be more value here, because they're looking at the retreat for multiple opportunities here. They want, your participants want to get away to a beautiful place. They want to recharge and they want to have that massage. And yes, they want to bond with other, like-minded individuals. And they want to have that intimate time with you. But at the end of the day, there's still the what's in it for me, right? There's still the what is going to be different about my life after this retreat or after this event, after this, this experience. And so you do need to have something substantial there that they are going to be taking away from the experience. And so you guys were like way off on the value without charging enough. And then I have people who come to me who want to charge exorbitant amounts of money, and it's too fluffy. And so I'll have to work with them to see where we can add some more value and some more content.
So the first thing you said we need to have in place is proof of concept. And I just want to dive into that just a little teeny bit so that people understand what that really means to you specifically. So for instance, proof of concept for me is I work with influencers, right? And influencers, what are they doing? They're out there all the time building their followers, they're putting their face out there, their videos out there. So what do they need? A lot of video content, a lot of new fresh photos. They can't be posting the same photo shoot for an entire year. And so I knew that was something that filled a niche in my group and what I was teaching. And so it worked perfect for me. How do people find that proof of concept in what they're already doing?
Well, the proof of concept, it's really about taking whatever that vision is for. It's basically, said in a very simplistic way. It is what your secret sauce is that has driven you to be an entrepreneur. So it's taking those gifts and that knowledge and those skills that you have and really harnessing them to come up with a product or a service, a package, a coaching program, and online, whatever that is that you're offering, and being able to charge money for it, because you've identified who your market is. You've identified the need for that market, like you've just explained, and you've put something together that answers that need. Okay. That's proof of concept, is having a market, having a service or a product, and having there be a willing market that is willing to pay you for that service or product, because there is a significant need there. So that to me is proof of concept.
And so then that runs directly into the next one, which is clients. And so if you already have clients paying you for that, they're ready to grow and expand. And so if a retreat helps them grow and expand, I'm assuming that's what you mean by number two being you have to already have paying clients.
You've got to have some paying clients. And here, by the way, let's talk about, this is another really good conversation point around when your business is ready for a retreat, because there's so much emphasis at the beginning when you're just getting your business started about getting clients in the door. How do you create this product or this service, and how do you market it, and to whom, on what platform? So you're trying to get clients in the door and get the word out about this amazing thing that you've put together, right? So that understandably is where you need to start when you're just starting out in business. Now, where I see there being a shift and when people are really ready for retreats is when they are moving past just needing to get clients in the door. And now they're becoming much more concerned about retaining clients. Okay, that's a very different mindset. It's a very different approach. It's a very different set of packages and programs that you're putting together. So it's not just about getting somebody in the door and paying for one of your services once. It's about how do you keep those clients over time? Because I have news for you. The money is in the repeat clients, not the one and done. All right. The clients who stay with you longer, it's proven, are going to be the ones that are going to spend more money with you. It just makes sense. So once you're in that place of business where you kind of pick your head up and you go, okay, I've got a functioning funnel. I mean, for lack of a better word, that's what we call it in the marketing world. My funnel's functioning. I've got clients coming in the door. I've got that nailed down. Once you sort of take a breather and you're now starting to think bigger picture, that's a perfect moment to start really thinking about where retreats could fit into your experiences and your client offerings, because that's all about now the client enrichment journey. It's about retention.
I love it. I want to spend the last 5 minutes of this podcast and this segment talking about the retreat ready assessment, because I think it's super important that we all go and take that. It's free. You can go take it, find out where you're ready, what you need to be working on, because retreats are not only lucrative, which I always am looking for lucrative, right? That's how you grow, is by making money. It's how you pay the bills. But I'm also looking for client satisfaction. And the bonds that I have created with those clients has been phenomenal. I have not advertised my coaching in years because it's either repeat business or word of mouth.
There you go.
Yes, exactly. And it's because of those connections that I am making on personal levels. So it takes your business to a whole nother level. So how do we get the retreat assessment? What happens when we take it? How do we find out where we're at? What do we learn about getting ready?
Well, first of all, I just want to repeat something that you said because it bears repeating, Jana. I mean, honestly, come on. Repeat business and referral business. Hello, that's the best business that's out there, because you have paid how much for that? Oh, not a lot. It's exactly. The best absolute kind. And it's warm business. It's not cold calling. It's not trying to bring somebody in and nurture them and have them get to know you. No, the trust level is already there. The trust is already there when someone refers someone to you, or when they're coming and wanting to do repeat business with you. So that's the best kind of business out there. So the retreat ready assessment is readily available all over my website, www.journeyworkretreats.com. So if there's an invitation there to take our retreat ready assessment, like I said, it's 15 easy questions, multiple choice, A or B. And then once you've taken it, there is an invitation to actually get on my calendar. You get a report and it tells you where you are in your retreat planning journey, what some things that you need to be thinking about for your next steps. And if you are far enough along, then you get invited to come onto my calendar and we can have a conversation about what this looks like for you and what this vision is that you have around retreats and how I can best support you.
Tamara, I know you are already booking up for 2022 because look, at COVID is moving away and we are getting back out there and we are dying for that in-person human connection again, and to get out and spread our beautiful wings and start getting into stuff again. So I strongly recommend that you guys go and take this free assessment, book that call with her. Some of the best things that ever happened to me in all of my business career, where it's a free call with someone that opened up doors that I never even knew existed. So I would strongly recommend you go to the website. We're going to put all the links in here, grab that retreat assessment, get it filled out, and find out where you're at. So you can see where maybe you're already there. Maybe there's just a few steps that you need to start incorporating, but find out where you're at and how close you are to getting in there. Thank you so much, Tamara. I love this series because I love retreats.
Well, so do I, obviously. And I promise if you come on a call with me, I will be honest and I will be gentle. I have a 20-year coaching background, so I promise I can be those two things with you.
I promise you she's very honest because she's told us things just flat out, oh, that's not going to work. You can do it, but it's not going to work. And so then she gives us what will work. And when we sit around, we're like, you know what? That sounds much better.
Thanks, Jen. I appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. So you guys go grab the assessment. I want to hear that all of you have taken that. I mean, even if you're nowhere near, you can see what steps you have to take to get there, because if you're not doing it, somebody else will. And so get out there and be in that and start making money for your business, but start building those incredible connections with people.
Absolutely. Thanks so much, Jana. Great to be here as always.
Thanks for listening to the Oh My Health, There Is Hope podcast. Make sure to visit Jana's website, bestholisticlife.com, where you can subscribe to the show on iTunes, Google Play, or listen there, so you'll never miss an episode. While you're at it, if you found value in the show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes, or if you simply tell a friend about the show. That'll help too. Let's change the world together, one health expert at a time. Looking forward to seeing you next time.